Hello children, welcome to another session of the physics class today. In the previous class we have already discussed about the standard quantity, the fundamental quantity, comparing a known physical quantity with a standard one. So today, proceeding in the very same context, we are going to study about the estimation of a particular value by the orders of magnitude. Now we are very well aware what the word magnitude refers to. Magnitude refers to a particular value. That particular value could be very large or it could be very small. So based upon this very context, how should we represent a particular value? That is what we are going to estimate today by the help of this estimation by the orders of magnitude. Now let's take up an example of like diameter of a sun. We know that the diameter of the sun is 139000000. This is meter. So that is why we are having such a large value. That is what we discussed over here, that this could be of a magnitude, could be of a large value or it could be a smaller one. So right now taking meter, it will be a larger value. If we are going to take centimeter, further it will be more larger value, will be having more number of zeros that will be probably getting added up. Alright, okay, let's take another example. Let's take the diameter of a hydrogen atom. A diameter of an hydrogen atom, if you are going to represent it in the meter, is going to be 0.00000000106 meter. We know that over here meter is not the correct unit that we should be using it, because meter is going to give us such a small value to represent a particular value. So we know that there are like nanometer and all these smaller unit we should be using to represent such a smaller value. Similarly over here we know that we are having kilometer and all that we will be using to represent a value. But still, why are we using these values? Why? So that since we are using these values, so we are having such a large problem. So to cut short this particular problem, we are going to be using some values or some proper notation to represent a particular magnitude of such a high order. So to see that, the above number over here are exceptionally big, and obviously it will be a bit of difficulty to write or maybe to remember them. So just to ease out this very thing, we will be using a form in which we will be having a product of a number between 1 and 10, and then it will be multiplied by a power of 10. Okay, let's continue. The thing that I just read out is like a particular number into 10 with a power of something, a particular number into 10 with a power of something, a particular number into 10 with a power of something. That power could be positive, that power could be negative, since we are representing it in the form of a particular unit given to us as meter per second, meter and meter. Now what are these values? We know that the speed of light, we do not write it down as 300000000 meter per second. No, what do we write it down to be as? 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Alright, when we are representing it in meter. We can also represent it in kilometer. So again we will be using the very same. So in this very form we can simply write down a particular value in a proper notation, in a standard form or proper order of magnitude. Similarly, a diameter of sun you can easily remember, that will be 1.39 to 10 to the power 9 meter. Similarly, you can make the changes and you can represent this unit form in a kilometer form also. Alright, we will have to just simply remove 3 more zeros, divide by 1000, 1000 means 3 zeros, so that will become in the form of kilometer. So we can do all these changes quickly, but representing such a large value that we have previously seen is a bit problematic. So that is what we are having the need to represent in a particular form, that is the proper order of magnitude. Now always remember, these will be having two parts. Whenever we are representing such a value, it will be having two parts. One will be the numerical value, and over here you can see again a numerical value. No, it will be always be a base 10 with a power of something that goes to an exponential part. So basically this will be having two parts, one a numerical value and the other one will be an exponential part. That exponential part will be having a base 10 and the power could be positive, it could be negative. Alright, okay. So now 1.39 is not an exact value, it's simply an approximated value. That is what we read, or initially we started with a very estimating. That means estimation is never an exact value. It is somewhat near to that, or basically or probably an approximated value of that very quantity. Alright, okay, moving ahead. Now next thing that we are going to use is degree of accuracy. Now this is very important in the terms of physics. whenever we are going to use or whenever we'll be doing any experiment in the lab. So then you will come across this very thing, that the degree of accuracy matters a lot. So this is particular thing with which or through which we can measure a particular quantity without any error of estimation. So we are not estimating, might be a particular value is coming out to be 989.73 and we are writing it out to be as 990. No, so 990 will be an estimated value, but taking that value is a proper accurate value. Now degree of accuracy will depend upon few factors. The basic thing that it depends upon will be the number of places. How many number of places are you taking for a particular quantity? That means, are you taking one place of decimal, two places of decimal, three places of decimal? How many places of decimal are you taking? More places of decimal, more precise your answer will be and more accurate the value is going to be. So for that, the degree of accuracy is what is refers to be more with precision has to be maintained. That's the very important thing over here. Let's continue, children. Now before we proceed with the place of decimal, let us talk about the significant figures. I'm having few numbers present over here. The very first number is 91, next one is 123.45, next we have 101.1203, next we have 0.00052. Now these are few specific numbers. Let's talk about the significant figures. In the very first one, it's quite clear that we will be having two significant figures. In the next one, we'll be having total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant figures. In this one, normally always remember what do significant figures refers to. It refers to the total number of non-zero digits present. But there will be few cases in which we are going to consider the zero. Before we take example number 3, let's take the fourth one. We are having 0.00052. Now over here, if we are having these zeros for which the number is getting started with, we will not count those zeros. These are basically known as the leading zeros, L-E-A-D-I-N-G, leading zeros. So these are not to be counted. We always count the very first one is supposed to be the non-zero digit. So that is why we will be having 5 and 2. That will make it to be as two significant figures. One thing more. Over here in physics, it will depend upon the place of decimal. So that means after this, if we are having a 0, that can be counted in physics. As per maths, we do not count. We will be counting it to be as 52. That means 520 will also be referred to as 52. Will be having just two significant figures. But in physics, as per the derivation, both the place of decimal, that will depend upon the particular value that we have calculated or estimated. So for this, so it will be just two significant figures. Now let's take about the third one. Now we just discussed that 0 is a significant figure will be a non-zero digit, but over here since we are having a 0 in between these numbers present, so it will be counted. So that makes it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is going to have 7 significant figures. So this is the main thing. As per physics, this significant figures plays a vital role. Obviously, it will depend upon the nature of the experiment and the accuracy with which the various measurements are being made. All right. Okay. Let's continue. Let's take an example of a particular value as 1053200000000. We know that this can be written as few different forms depending upon the magnitude, the numerical part, and the exponential part. So if we take an accuracy between 1 and 10, so it will be just written as 1.0 irrespective of the numbers 5320. So that means again 1.0 will not tell us to be an exact value. It is just an approximated value, just somewhat near to the answer, but not an exact value. 1.05 will make us go a bit more near to the answer, but still we will not be having exact answer present. And so goes for this one. It will be again much more near to the answer as compared to the above stated one. So this is the value going to be lying between 1 and 100, and then this will be between 1 and 1000. All right. So this is how do we approximate a particular value, or what is the proper notation supposed to be written for these particular set of values. Now in the lab, whenever we carry out any particular experiment, because of some resistive forces or some of the other precautions maybe are not being followed, so we may get some particular value that is just an experimental value, and that is not exactly equal to the actual value that is supposed to be. So that what brings us to an error, basically known as an absolute error. Alright, so this absolute error is equal to the actual value that is coming out, or the actual value that is supposed to be probably, minus the experimental value. That means after performing experiment you came across a particular conclusion that this particular value is what is the answer, but that is not is supposed to, or that is not exactly the actual value coming out to be. So the difference between them is going to give us an absolute error, and so in the terms of percentage, the difference between them, that is the absolute error upon the actual value. We will always be taking the actual value into the 100% is going to give us the percentage error. To clear up with this thing, let's take an example, like if the experimental value is 985 centimeter per square second for an acceleration, let's say, whereas the actual value of this comes across about to 981 centimeter per square second. Then first of all, the difference between them, that is the actual value minus the experimental value. Alright, the difference between them. So the difference between them over here will be 985 minus 981. Now you may come across, sir, over here you have subtracted experimental value minus the actual value. Yes, it can be, because I said difference. So maybe times it might be possible that you are obtaining a value greater than the actual value. So it will be, that will become the actual value. No, it will always, the actual value remain the same. Experimental value may exceed it, alright, or it may not exceed, but the difference between them will always be the absolute error. So the difference between them will give us the absolute error. Then so percentage error will be equal to the absolute error upon the actual value into the 100%. So that is going to be the percentage error as per this very example. Alright children. So that's it for the class today. Now in the next term, today we have completed with the unit 2. Now the next term will be starting with the vernier caliper and the screw gauge part. Okay children, bye bye.